market wrap for November 14th, 2019. We got just about 15 minutes until the close here. All right, coming into today, we were neutral to bullish on the Qs and SPY. Looks like we're going to close pretty close to flat like we did yesterday. SPY up a little bit. You can see there were a couple quick kind of news spikes down, but they all recovered. And that's kind of what we expect, right? As long as we remain bullish, expect sell-offs to get bought here. Hourly uptrend is still intact. So, this is what I told the room this morning as we were preparing for the trading day, right? We're going to need to break below yesterday's low first. On the Qs, I find that it's all very, very clear here, right? Where we need to break through, and then where the next support level is. And if we are going to get real selling, right, that is the point in time. And what happened? We got picked right back up. Okay, so, kind of that first test there, what ended up proving that bulls are still in control. Okay, so going into tomorrow, still going to be neutral to bullish. I wanted to see, are we going to get follow through if we break underneath yesterday's low, that little bit of double bottom that was kind of confirmed by that bottoming tail, and we really did not get much follow through there. Okay, so we are just basing daily, weekly, all remain bullish. We're just basing up here, potentially setting up for the next move higher. Now we have had quite a decent move up here. We've been bullish on the market for, I guess, a month now, right? And kind of haven't really given us any indication or any reason really to switch to a bearish bias or even a neutral bias here, all out neutral. So just going to be going into tomorrow same as with the same bias that we've had. Okay, no, it's not that exciting, but we just go with what the chart says. All right, so I wanted to talk today a little bit about kind of just how emotions impact us throughout the trading day, because they're going to be there. As much as we wish we could completely remove them from our trading process, it's going to be impossible. So I think the best way is to look at how they can negatively impact us as well as actually positively impact us. Okay, so I want to start with today's trade. Okay, we had a trade on the Cisco right at the open as it broke the opening range here. Okay, Cisco, we played this at the open here. Nice gap down off of earnings underneath 45.23 with a stop at 45.50. That was the tightest stop I could play it with, and I did want to play with a tight stop because I know Cisco doesn't typically move all that much. Target 1 into 44.90. We got target 1 here. Target 2 into 44.75. Did have to wait a little bit, and then finally got it right here. And then we held on to a runner, let that runner kind of trail out a little bit better than break even, but didn't make much on the runner. Okay, so nice couple first targets. Wanted to try and be in this all day, and then kind of in the afternoon just kind of went to sleep and went flat. And that's usually what the Cisco does. Okay, now, this Cisco for me is going to be a little bit of kind of not redemption, I would say, but just, a lesson learned from the goose yesterday. Okay, so I saw that this goose on the weekly here, right, rolling over, had a nice big run up and then put in the top, and now continuing the downtrend, like a relatively recent downtrend on this weekly, right? And so, I didn't play the goose yesterday. So how did I feel? Of course, I felt, like, oh, I really missed out on this breakdown, right? Base at the lows and then broke down. Just really, really nice, clean move there. Okay. I know one of my coaching students took it, and it was great to see. It was kind of the highlight of my day because in our last session, we had talked about how 5-minute bases were where he was making most of his money. It was his most profitable entry pattern, and he said that he played it. And I'm like, that's because that's your play. So it's important that we kind of learn these things, right? But, I missed out on the goose, And so when I saw this Cisco today, I saw we had this strong run up, right? Look at this weekly. Strong run up. And now topping out and off the 20 MA starting to roll over, right? I saw the similarities there between the larger time frames on the Cisco and the Goose, right? And that told me let's play, right, this base breakdown, just like the setup that the Goose gave, right, later in the day off of 5 minute. So base breakdown. Okay, so, it's because that feeling of, oh, I missed out, I missed a good one, I knew that was a good setup right off the 20 MA, good gap, good larger time frame, that, that kind of stuck with me, right? And probably in a way I was like annoyed and kind of disappointed and knew I should have played this, counting kind of how much I should have been able to make on this and things like that, right? But at the same time, that makes this setup on the weekly very, very familiar to me. So that when I see it, I say, yes, this is a good daily chart, weekly chart, right, for lower. Okay, so, that feeling like, oh, we kind of missed the play, or, all that profit that I should have played, right, at the same time kind of drives us to do better, right, and take what we can from the play. Yes, I made, I don't get to take any profit away from the Goose, but that prepared me that much more for the Cisco this morning, right? We had a similar thing to the upside this week, this KHC. Okay, let's take a look at the daily on the KHC here. Okay, KHC, severe downtrend, gap down, can't recover from the gap down, another gap down, but then starts to put in a higher low here. Starts to recover, right? Puts in a higher low, double bottom essentially, and then, right, gets the gap up. Okay, when we got the DXC earlier this week, right, and I saw severe downtrend, really beaten down, gap down, another gap down, but then started to put in equal lows, started to recover, and then we get this gap up, right? That helped me to not hesitate at all, to know that, all right, I need to play this DXC, right? And we played this breakout on the DXC here, right? Right in there. Well, we played this one first, and then that one was later in the afternoon. Played this one first, did the pullback, eventually got to target, right? So while, we kind of have to go through a little bit of that pain, that definitely was painful. I remember on this KHC day, it was between this and another gap, those were my top two gaps, right? And I ended up going after the other one. That one didn't work, and then this one worked, right? And this just kind of stuck with me. And after that, after the market close, I looked at the KHC to be like, all right, what is this pattern? What is it that made this so powerful? What gave it this move, right? Okay, so that maybe it took a week, 2 weeks almost later to get to the DXC, right? But it's that kind of emotion, desire to improve, also that kind of pain of missing out on it, that kind of helps us, drives us to do better, right? And so, even though we would like it so that we were always completely objective, kind of treated every scenario the same, treated every trade the same, right? Whether we took it or didn't take it, right? Those emotions can actually help us. Another way, that usually comes up more, not like this time of year when we have lots of things to go after and lots of gaps and lots of earning names, but like back in late August, early September, we were kind of, I think 30 minutes into the morning, and we were doing some scanning, and someone mentioned, I haven't taken any trades yet today. And I said, well, do you feel like you've missed out, right? Because if you feel like you've missed out, right, you'll know, right? You'll see the play, and you'll see that it worked, and it was your setup, and it was within your plan to take, and you think, darn it, I missed it. And so when you look at, oh, I haven't taken any plays, you immediately know, just from the emotions of feeling like you missed out, that you didn't take any plays because of something else. It wasn't because there wasn't opportunities. But if you say, I haven't taken any plays yet this morning, and you don't feel like you've missed out, then that tells you maybe you're not doing anything wrong. Maybe you're showing the right amount of discipline, right, to wait for your setup, right? And so we can kind of determine that really quickly, just based on the impact of our emotions or the benefit of our emotions, right? And so even though, sometimes it's a little bit painful, you watch these plays go without you, right? Or sometimes the feeling is, oh, I'm a little bit frustrated because I'm doing all this scanning, nothing's like setting up quite right, and I'm not getting my setup in, right? And so, but from those emotions, we can kind of determine, are we doing what we're supposed to be doing? Are we trading well? Are we trading according to our plan, right? Okay, so, I think it's really important, we're all going to have, I think on any given day, something that could be annoying or frustrating. Like Cisco worked, it was relatively pain-free initially, but we did get trailed out of it, and then it made a new low afterwards, right? And if I really wanted to find a reason to be annoyed, like I could, right? I could say, oh, well, why did it have to like trail us out? I wanted to be there for those new lows or whatever, right? But it was a good trade, I think. It was a good setup, right? And it was a nice official call. I know a lot of people took it in the room because I was on the mic and we were just kind of focused on it throughout the morning, right? And so, like even on a day like when we played the DXC, I think I did the DXC and the Ameren and the TSN, right? And it was a nice day, 3 for 3 on those plays. But, and at the same time, the Ameren I got trailed out of, and then the DXC and the Tyson I took a little bit too early because I thought they were a little bit too wild, right? And then all three ended up kind of closing at the high of the day. So if you all want to be kind of a little bit bothered by them, I mean, I could always find a reason to like be bothered about a trade that I didn't get out at the highs or something like that. But, it's not that kind of emotion. Or you say, this trade didn't work just because the market is frustrating or anything like that, right? We're not trying to get there with our emotions, right? Trying to understand, okay, why does this trade bother me? Like, for instance, the goose. And it's because I knew it was a good trade. I just passed on it because I thought the goose might be a little bit too wild. Does kind of jump around, right? And so I didn't think that was a good enough reason to pass on it, though. And so what can we do, right? Is that, all right, we recognize the pattern. We see the follow through, tells us that there was something important about this, powerful about this. And we may not learn anything new, but maybe it's just a reminder of what we already knew, right? Of, is this a good setup? Should this be considered bearish enough to be played, right? And I think it definitely was. Okay, so, I think sometimes, the emotions can seem all negative and they only cause us to do the wrong thing, right? But at the same time, there is information embedded in the emotions too, and that if we can kind of interpret them correctly, right, we can actually gain from them. Okay, so hopefully that's kind of your approach to the emotions, as much as we would like to kind of extricate them completely from the trading process and just be completely objective about it. There are gonna be a part of our trading, and at the same time we can actually use them to our advantage. Okay, all right, so hopefully, that's something to consider for you if you weren't already. But we're going to wrap it up here, today's market wrap, and then tomorrow, all right, we'll close out the week. Hopefully it's been a pretty good week for you, and then we'll just finish strong tomorrow, okay? We'll see what the market brings us then, and I will talk to you tomorrow. All right, have a good evening.